In the heart of ancient Athens, 399 BCE, a man stood before 500 of his peers, accused not of murder, theft, or treason, but of corrupting the minds of the youth and questioning the gods. His name was Socrates. But instead of pleading for mercy, he welcomed death. Why? This is not just a story about a man who drank poison. This is the story of a man who chose truth over life. Welcome to Mystic Trap. And today, we uncover the profound reasons behind Socrates' choice to die.
Athens wasn't just any city. It was the cradle of democracy, art, and philosophy. But it was also a society deeply rooted in tradition, gods, and political tension. After a devastating war, the Peloponnesian War with Sparta, Athens was weakened, vulnerable, and politically divided. In this world of uncertainty, Socrates stood out. He roamed the markets, asking questions no one dared to ask. What is justice? What is virtue? What does it mean to live a good life? And the Athenians? They didn't like it, because Socrates wasn't a preacher. He was a destroyer of false pride.
Socrates never claimed to be wise. In fact, his famous quote was, "I know that I know nothing." He would ask a question, then another, and another, until the person realized their own ignorance. It was powerful. It made people think. But it also made politicians, poets, and teachers angry, because it exposed their ignorance in public. The youth loved it. They followed him, learned from him. But the elders, they saw Socrates as dangerous.
In 399 BCE, Socrates was put on trial. The charges? 1. Corrupting the youth of Athens. 2. Not believing in the city's gods. Socrates was offered a chance to apologize, to beg for forgiveness, but he didn't. Instead, he said, "I would rather die, having spoken after my manner, than speak in your manner and live." He challenged the court, mocked their fear of death, and stood by his principles. He was found guilty by a vote of 280 to 220. After the verdict, Socrates could have escaped. His friends, like Crito, offered him a way out, but he refused. Why? Because escaping would mean rejecting the laws of Athens, the very system he lived under. He said, "A true philosopher should not fear death." On his final day, he drank a cup of hemlock, a deadly poison. Calm, unafraid, he joked with his friends. His final words? "Crito, we owe a rooster to Asclepius. Pay the debt and don't forget." Asclepius was the god of healing. Was Socrates implying that death was a cure?
So, why did Socrates choose death over silence? Because to him, living without virtue, without truth, was a worse fate than dying. He believed that the soul was eternal, that death was not an end, but a journey. And most importantly, he didn't want to betray his own philosophy. To beg would mean he feared death, but Socrates taught, the unexamined life is not worth living. Choosing death was his final lesson, his final proof that philosophy must be lived, not just spoken.
Socrates' death shook Athens. Many began to question if killing him was a mistake. His student Plato would go on to write the Apology, Crito, and Phaedo, immortalizing Socrates. Through Plato came Aristotle. Through them, the foundations of logic, ethics, and Western thought. Martin Luther King Jr. read Socrates. Nelson Mandela was inspired by him. Even in today's classrooms, Socrates is taught not as a man who died, but as one who chose truth over fear, conscience over comfort, freedom of mind over life itself.
In a world where truth is often compromised, Socrates' death reminds us that some ideas are worth dying for. He never wrote a single book, yet his words echo through time. Ask yourself, what do you stand for? Would you choose truth, even if it meant standing alone? Because that's what Socrates did. And perhaps that's why his death still matters. If you found this story powerful, like, share, and subscribe to Mystic Trap. More untold stories of history, philosophy, and truth await. Until next time, keep questioning. Don't forget to ring the bell.